Hey everyone, so before we begin with our video, we would like to make a small request. Kindly subscribe to our channel and like the video if it helps you, and also share it with your friends who may benefit from the same. So in this video we'll be discussing how to charge a battery using constant current, and this will be part 1 of 2 videos. So first you'll need a battery and you'll need a power GUI block. And you'll also need to ensure that your solver is in variable step and auto solver. The type is variable step and it's not a solver. Make sure these configurations are the same. So after the continuous block has to be in discrete, and we'll keep it 5e power minus 6. So now you'll need a DC voltage source along with the battery. So the DC voltage source is going to charge the battery and provide power to the load when the battery is not when the battery is not discharging, whereas when the battery is discharging, the DC voltage will be disconnected. The voltage source will be disconnected, which will be shown in part 2. So this is part 1, and so part 1 basically just deals with the charging aspect. So let's set the voltage to 24 volts and the ampere hours to 40 ampere hours, and initial state of charge as 45%, and time response is 1 second. And let's rotate the block and make sure that the discharge parameters are, you can tick the box so that the MATLAB software automatically calculates the discharge parameters. Now you'll need an RLC branch, and you will need to convert it to an RL branch. So set the values for resistance and inductance. Apply it and click OK. So make sure these values are the same, and now flip the block so that the positive terminal comes on top and the negative terminal comes below. So connect the positive terminal, and now you'll need Mosfets. So you'll need 2 Mosfets, and we'll rotate these 2 Mosfets. So I'm going slow in the video so that you guys can do it simultaneously as well. So connect one of the ends of the RL branch to the in the middle to the part which connects the 2 MOSFETs, and connect one of the MOSFETs to the negative terminal of the battery. And we'll also need an RC branch as well as resistive load. So first we'll do a resistive load. We'll give it a particular some resistance, and now we'll also need an RC branch. So just copy paste that and make it RC. So give it a value of resistance and capacitance. And this should come in parallel with the 2 MOSFETs, which will be in parallel with the load. Yes. Now you can connect the battery DC voltage across the load as well. So since the DC voltage of the battery is 24 volts, the charging voltage has to be greater than that, otherwise it wouldn't charge. So we'll make it 48 volts. So now you need an ideal switch. So we'll keep the gating pulse of the ideal switch as 1 for the first part of the two videos, so that it is always charging. So if you make it 0, it stops charging and the battery starts discharging. So now we'll need a constant block. So let's set the value of constant to 1. So if you click on it, you can change the value if you want to, but for this part we'll keep it as 1. And now you'll need a bus selector. So a bus selector will help us obtain individual parameter values of a battery. So click on the bus selector, drag it down, connect it to the M, and you can select SOC current and voltage. So remove whatever has been selected initially and select SOC current and voltage. So now as you can see, there are 3 output terminals, and now we can use a go-to tag to make the simulation representation neater, and it will help us. So the first one will be SOC, the second one would be current, and third one is voltage. Let's name them the same. And let's make sure it's all global, because we will be putting it inside a subsystem. If you don't make it global, it's going to be an issue later on. Okay, now what we so now the circuit model is done. So in order to charge the circuit, now we'll need a PID controller. So let's go and get a PID controller. So this is case 1. So this is charging. So I'll just write it down there so no one gets confused. There are 2 methods for charging: constant current and constant voltage. So first, in this part of the video, we'll just focus on constant current method. So you need a PID controller. So make sure it's internal, and the value of integral is 10, and the value of P is 0.005, and the value of integrator is 0.5. And so the upper limit is 0.975 and the lower limit will give us 0. So this is basically your output of the PID controller, which is a PI controller. We've made a PI controller, but ensure that you take these values down, because this is what the duty cycle will be to your PWM generator, which we will connect to now. So click on apply and ensure that all the values are the same. And now let's go and get a DC to DC PWM generator. So you go to library and you type in PWM. Where is it? No, it's got to be down. Yeah. So select the PWM generator, DC to DC PWM generator. And now once this is done, click on the PWM generator, make the switching frequency 10 e power 3, so 10 kilohertz basically, and sample time 5 e power minus 6. So let's create a subsystem. And the inputs to the subsystem would be our, let's name the Mosfets 1 and 2. So the inputs to the subsystem would be current, but the outputs of the subsystem will be MOSFETs 1 and 2, so the gating pulses of both the MOSFETs. So I will bring it inside inside the subsystem. So the output of the PWM generator will go to MOSFET 1, and the negative of that MOSFET will go to the negative of that pulse will go to MOSFET 2. So we'll need a NOT gate to negate the PWM output. So now we'll need an adder, which we will make it into a which we will change the signs to a positive and a negative. So the positive will have the current of the current coming from the battery charge current, and the negative will be the reference voltage, so reference current. So the reference current will keep it as 6 amps. So listen, it's 6 amps, but you should actually make it -6 because the current is flowing into the battery, so it becomes -6 since it's discharging. And let's go back and get the current. Yes. And now the model is done. Now let's check the simulation. And before that, let's just name this. So we need a scope to check the outputs. Before we run the simulation, we should also make sure that the I encountered some problems with the modeling settings. So just make sure that it is variable step and it is auto. Yeah, now let's simulate the model. So clicking on the simulation model. So now as you can see that the charging current is around 6 amps. So it fluctuates between with a mean of 6 amps. So you could actually reduce this fluctuation by increasing the inductance on the path of the battery. So let's try to increase the inductance by 10 to the power of 2. So before that we'll just observe the waveform. As you can see, the SOC is also increasing. Yeah, so now stop the simulation and increase the inductance to by a factor of 2. So now if you click the graph and see, so as you can see, the current value is settling down and it becomes close to 6 amps, -6 amps. So this is because inductance is basically resistance to current, change in current, and it actually prevents the fluctuation of current. But I do not think such practically it may be feasible, because it's very hard to get inductors of such ratings. And now if we change the constant value, the reference value we told to, from -6 to -5, and now if we observe the graph, you can see that it's moved to -5. Current is moved to -5 amps. So that's about it for this video. This is part 1. So next video we'll be talking about constant voltage, and we will be talking about the discharging part of the battery as well. So kindly like this video, and we hope you found it useful. Also, do check out our other videos and subscribe to our channel if you already haven't, as it really helps us keep going. And do recommend it to your friends who also may find it useful. Thank you.